What would you do? All right, let's talk about it. So, this is really important. I think it is so important to be able to kind of break down what you want to do for each client when they show you an inspiration picture. So, listen, what you want to do is be able to look at a picture, look at the inspo photo, and know how to get a similar result in the shortest time possible. It's a skill that's going to serve you well in your career and in everything that you are learning here. Now that you've learned most of the techniques that we use in the Slice Squad and that will actually slice your timing down, what I want you to now be able to do is know when to utilize which techniques by looking at somebody's hair and breaking it down into three sections like this, okay? Now, there are always so many different ways that you could get to any given result, given, you could get to any result in so many different ways. But what I am trying to train your brain to do is to find the easiest way to get to here. So I like to do that by breaking down the hair into three separate areas. So we've got our new growth area here. Now we have our mids here and we have our ends. As you can see in this particular photo, the ends are completely light. There's not really dimension. All of the ends are light. So to me, right away, that's going to say, for me, that's backcombing right away. No hair left out in between because look, they're all bright. You can vary, but there's a little bit of dimension in the middle, which to me means we are going to vary how close to the scalp we are going with our backcombing, okay? So you can do that, your backcombing at varying levels through the hair. I would just zigzag it. It's super easy. Watch if you need for reference, go back to the zigzag ombre video. Um, but I would probably do some of the sections smaller than what I did in that video because I would say that they go a little bit higher up for her. So I would do that same what I did in that video, but maybe just a little bit of smaller zigzag sections. Then I want you to look at what's going on at the roots here. It looks to me like she's got a lot. So I would actually melt this. So I would do a color melt. And if you need to know how to do a melt, go ahead and look at the zigzag melt video again. I would do a level 6. I would probably go level 6 neutral in her new growth with just like a cream base demi-permanent. And then in the mids, I would probably do like a 7 with a little bit of gold and a little bit of copper, and then I would melt that into a level 8. Now, obviously, it depends what you are lifting her to, but there is warmth in here. So you want to make sure that you're not canceling out all of the warmth, which is kind of hard to do with a level 8 anyway. So you would want to lift her to around a 9, or a level 8, or I mean, basically. And then I would tone that down with a level 8. So I would have those three colors fading into each other. That's just personally what I would do. I'm not saying that that's what the person who did this color did, but it's important because when people show us inspiration photos, it's not often of our own work. So we don't really have, so we just need to be able to decide how can I get there as quickly as possible, right? Now, this is a before and after photo. I didn't do the before and after, okay? So but I want you to be able to look, okay, so your client comes to you and has this color before, now they want this color. So the ends are already bright in the before picture, right? But there's dimension and there's lots of dimension throughout the mids of this picture. And the easiest way, and some of them go up to the top. So the easiest way would be to do zigzags, but you've got your money piece in the front too. So separate money piece. And then I would just do an easy dimensional zigzag placement. You do not need to get every single hair in a foil because her ends are already bright. Okay. Um, you might pull the lightener down onto the ends. So basically gonna want to go, this is just what I would do. Again, you're going to want to go and do a separate money piece, and then you're going to do some zigzags. I didn't make you the best picture, but um, so you're going to zigzag back home, and then that should just get you these results super easy, like really, really, really easy. Um, it's going to diffuse it. It's going to give you some dimension through the mids, but keep those ends nice and bright. And again, you might want to pull the lightener down to the ends, like toward the end of the service, or even at the shampoo bowl for 10 minutes. Just do like a soap cap on the ends just to brighten it up. But yeah, this one's really straightforward and simple. You don't need to go all the way to the roots except at that money piece in the front, which I would just gently back home the money piece, 2 slices probably. This is just what I would do. I did not create this color. But again, it's so important to be able to break this up. So I'm going in the sides, zigzag, 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 and then probably a couple right here of zigzags, and then the traditional up the back section, but you could leave out plenty of hair in between, no problem. Very simple, tone it with a level 8, good to go, right? Depending what you lift her to, there's warmth in there for sure, right? All right, moving on to the next. Now here we've got, let's say your client comes to here, they've got some kind of a grown out color, but they want this like bold JLo look. Now I look at this and immediately think the dimensional slice and smudge, right? But these slices are thick and they're kind of in panels. And if you look, I want you to be able to look at hair. These are not, they don't look like they were backcombed. They look like ribbons of color. So when something's backcombed, it actually diffuses throughout the section, not just up here. It also diffuses throughout here, but these slices don't look diffused. They look like ribbons of color. So she already has this going on. I would quite simply just go back to back, do the traditional slice and smudge placement, but I would go 1, 2, 3 up the back, like back to back foils, leave a big space, 1, 2, 3 back to back, leave a big space, and then do the same in the mohawk. 1, 2, 3, big space, 1, 2, 3, big space, 1, 2, 3, big space, and then just a solid color throughout. So then the in-between color, I would just do, level 7 or so, level 6. Actually, yeah, I would literally just do like I would probably just do a 6, and um you don't want to start messing around with like lifting the base. You can if you want to, but I would just communicate with your client that that's more upkeep. I mean, you could probably do a level 7 and just add plenty of ash to it, and then just do it with like a 30 volume if you wanted to, and it would probably come out nice. And then you want to go in, and I would just do a root smudge with that, with the natural level, just tap out those roots. Now here, let's say your client starts out with this color. This was an actual client of mine and wants this color. That's not what this client wanted, but obviously ScarJo is not my client, but that'd be pretty dope, right? So let's break it down. What's going on here? She's got dimension at the roots. She's got a lot of brightness on the ends, not a lot of dimension, and a little bit of dimension through the mids here. Quite simply, this person that I have here already has some brightness going on the ends, but obviously not enough. So what I would probably do here is quite simply, I would do the diagonal slice and tease. That's all I would do. I would do money pieces in the front, slice them, tease them, and then kind of throughout, slice and tease, go diagonal. So it's like giving you a little bit of that dimensional look. Um, and I would just do a lower developer on the ends that are already bright. And then I would go in between and I would tip out the ends. So when you tip out the ends, you want to kind of go in for a few sections, pull it forward a little bit so that it's over directed. And then you want to back home those sections in between and foil those. Okay, so that no hair on the ends is left out. It's all getting blonded. And I would obviously use a lower volume on the pieces that are already light. Okay, so it's not as complicated as I probably just made it sound. But if you have any questions about that, let me know. About tipping out the ends, I will have showed you that by now in a coaching video anyway, but just in case you need any questions, that's an important thing to know how to do, is tip out the ends with a lower volume, get ultimate blondness throughout. Now here, kind of the same situation, right? But there's no, so for me, like I would do a slice and smudge here because it doesn't look like she has, so there's not a ton of dimension throughout. The only place where I'm really seeing a lot of dimension is like I wouldn't backcomb because it doesn't look diffused to me. You see that it looks like pretty solid. And then I would just do like a root smudge, but I would also tip out the ends here as well. So I would do a horizontal slice and smudge personally. So I'm going to go all the way up to wherever her part line is, except, and then I'll do a money piece in the front here. So I would just do a money piece in the front wherever the part is, horizontal, 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 right? Up the back, all horizontal. Now the ends that are already lightened, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take sections, just again, pull them forward. So pull those in between sections of hair that are left out forward and back home a little bit and paint those, okay? Back home and paint. Over direct it forward so that you're getting that nice gradient, okay? And that's for the hairs that are left in between the foils. The hairs in the foils, I would do a higher volume here in the area of new growth, and then I would do a lower volume on the ends that are already light. So I would, you know, even as easy as doing fix down here, fix or like a 6 volume, just to give it a little bit of extra lift. Then I would go in and do the root smudge, probably with like a level 5, actually, like a 5 neutral. Um, Kind of just tap that out, blend the blonde toner up into it. It depends what level you lift it to and what that looks like to decide what the toner would be. But I mean, it's kind of icy looking, so I would probably use a little bit of an icier toner, but also add in some gold to it so that it has that nice sheen and shine. That's what I would do for this color. So I hope that that kind of answers, like, I just want you to be able to start breaking it down what you're seeing. Okay. So right here for me, root smudge, root smudge, root smudge, all slices because look at it, it's solid. I don't know if that's what the stylist did here, but that's the way my eyes interpret it. And that I think would get you the easiest, closest results here. And I actually, that pretty much is what I did on this client. Um, I didn't add the before picture for whatever reason, but blah, blah, blah. What are you going to do? So, practice homework. Look up celebrity hair colors, and I want you to start breaking them down and then coming up with the easiest way to recreate the results. So, I really want you to start looking at, go on Pinterest, look up celebrity hair color, and then just really train your eye to know what to do. This is